Hey guys, Stenhouse here, currently in Melbourne with a cold, but I decided to film a quick vlog anyway, this time on the topic of life will pay whatever price you ask of it, and my own experience where I lost $6,000 on purpose because I asked for it. So I want to share a story of how this actually happened and how I began to learn that life will pay whatever price you ask of it. So I was with a client, working with a client, and the project was doing really well. And I got the opportunity to become a partner in this certain company at the time. I believe I was about 20, maybe 21. And we were working together in a partnership, and it was doing really well. So well that the client, who was now my partner in this additional company that I was working with, was keen to forward me referrals. It makes perfect sense, right? If you're doing really good work for a client, then they might ask you to become a partner, and then they might even refer additional work to you as well. So I had this client ask if I wanted to work for their friend on a very small project. I said, of course, why would I turn down a client that I can definitely help out, and why would I turn down the additional income? So at this time, when I was 20, 21, I wasn't earning nearly as much as I am now, obviously. However, I was still always keen to take on more work. I was always keen to try to scrape together extra profit from here or there, or I was always keen to close as many deals and projects as I can. So I jumped at the opportunity. And this is where it gets interesting. So my client slash partnership in this other company said, okay, Jamie, how much would you charge my friend, who was about to be my client, how much would you charge my friend for this project? And he outlined the project and what his friend needed. Actually, it was very, very clear and very concise. My client and partner had actually outlined the whole thing, which made it very easy for me to quote. Now, previously, because I was only 20 or 21 at the time, I wasn't as confident as I am now in my skill set. So my average client transaction was anywhere between $1,500 and maybe $2,000 top. At the maximum, it was $2,000. So when my client and partner asked me how much would you charge, I knew that this was a higher caliber prospect. I knew that because he was connected with my client and my partner, that they probably had more to spend. So I said, you know what, Mr. Client slash partner, I will charge your friend $3,000. And my heart was racing. I was like, oh my God, $3,000, that's the most I've ever quoted anyone. I was like, oh, hopefully his friend says okay and I can close the deal, because that would be really helpful right now. And sure enough, what happened from there onwards was quite interesting, and you be the judge of if it was right or wrong. So my client slash partner in this company said, fantastic, you've got the job. However, on one condition. I said, of course, anything. And my client and partner said, I want you to quote my friend $9,000 for this project. You take your $3,000 and give me the remaining $6,000. So what had happened is my client slash partner had already talked to his friend, had already quoted his friend on behalf of me, and simply asked me, Jamie, how much do you want to get paid? How much would you quote for this project? I quoted the absolute highest I had ever quoted at that time. Landed it instantly because my client slash partner had pre-quoted on behalf of me $9,000, and I asked for $3,000, and I got exactly what I asked for. I quoted the amount, I got it instantly, I got it all up front from him. It was a very easy project. However, I lost $6,000 because I didn't quote high enough, because I didn't value my work high enough. And I wasn't angry. I was like, I was a little bit confused. I was like, well, I could have quoted more. I could have charged more for that. But it was an interesting lesson, and I think that's what my client slash partner was trying to teach me without even being conscious of it. They were about 15 years older than me, so it was a very good lesson in terms of life will pay whatever price you ask of it. Here I was as a freelancer kinda at the age of 20, 21. I had a large client base for that time, but I was still quoting smaller amounts because I was learning a lot still. I didn't have the team behind me that I have today. So when he asked me how much I would charge, I was like, man, $3,000 would be amazing. And of course, I got exactly that. The opportunity though was up to $9,000 because he had pre-quoted his friend. So just an interesting takeaway that life will pay whatever price you ask of it. So what are you asking for? What are you asking for in terms of your clients? What are you asking for in terms of your friends, your colleagues, your prospects? What are you asking for? Because be careful what you wish for, because you might get it, right? I wish I would close that $3,000 deal, and I did, but there was an extra $6,000 that could have been made. So if I had quoted him, let's say $6,000, then I would have gotten $6,000 and he would have gotten $3,000 for doing nothing, for simply just connecting it up. So I don't think there was anything wrong in what he did. I tell this story sometimes at events and people are like, oh, well, that's just rude, that's just mean. He should have given you, the freelancer, the extra $6,000. Now he's earning more than you and you're actually doing the work. I'm like, yes, that's true, but I got exactly to the dime what I asked for. And I always think that's an interesting analogy that, you know, life will pay whatever you ask of it. So just be careful what you're asking for. Now that goes not. The other flip side to that is that you can't be blatantly greedy. Like, you have to be doing a fair exchange as well. And I think that's pretty obvious. I don't think if I had come out and said, well, I want to get paid $24,000 for this, he would have probably just maybe laughed at me, or maybe had questioned me and come down a little bit more. But who knows, right? Maybe I should have quoted outside of what I normally charge by triple or quadruple the amount, right? And see what would have happened. The point is, when you overquote or when you over aim or you want to push yourself, you can always scale it back down. You can always, you know, reduce your pricing or reduce the project size. However, once a client agrees or once someone agrees, it's very hard to increase that agreement level, right? So you can always reduce it, which is what I maybe could have done, but it's very hard to increase it unless you've got a very nice client or a very nice person that you're working with. So just a bit of a story in terms of how I lost $6,000 because I asked for it, because I asked to get paid $3,000 and I got $3,000, and there was a remaining $6,000 that could have been capitalized on. But just thought I would share that with you tonight while in Melbourne. I'd love to know your thoughts and comments. Also, let me know the feedback on this new lens. I picked it up while I was over here. I think it looks quite good. So let me know if the footage is clearer, and I'll see you next time for another Insight series.